Hello, real quick before we begin, if you're coming here straight after my Web of Fear review, I just wanted to give you a heads up that I just did a follow-up review to a pseudo-sequel of sorts called Downtime. So if you want to consume all things Doctor Who reviews, make sure you give that one a watch when you can. Now, on to Fury from the Deep, a serial that begins with the TARDIS actually materialising on the surface of the water, with the Doctor quoting, "The TARDIS is quite capable of floating." But wasn't the TARDIS fully submerged beneath the rising tide in an earlier serial, The Underwater Menace I think it was, and they couldn't even access it? I guess the Doctor must have forgotten to flip the flotation function switch. Now, who really cares about continuity anyway? Me. I care. Here we go, another completely animated 6-part story from 1968. All episodes were lost, so we've got another one of these good old 2D animated reconstructions to look forward to. How fun. Shortly after they land, the Doctor, Jamie, and Victoria row a rowboat ashore. Yes, I don't for a second doubt that the second Doctor in particular has a tiny little rowboat just sitting somewhere in the TARDIS. He could have used that in the 11th hour, couldn't he? There's yet another mention of how the TARDIS always seems to be taking them back to Earth. They could have come in handy in the first Doctor's adventures. But this time they even go so far as to specify, like, "Oh, Doctor, we always seem to be landing on England." Stop it, Jamie. Stop being so self-aware, it's weird. But not as weird as them all immediately getting into a play fight and a bunch of gross brown sea foam, and you'd better appreciate that sea foam, by the way, because there's a whole section in the behind-the-scenes making-of animation process mini-documentary going into great detail about how challenging it is to accurately animate foam. Though, I found it quite disgusting to watch, if I'm being honest. Quite disturbing, actually, because for me, living in a town called Wanganui for 5 years, you know exactly what that rank foamy stuff is, especially when it's that nasty brown colour. Yeah, that's farm runoff. A disgusting and surprisingly legal practice where dairy farmers are just allowed to let all their manure and sewage waste just drain into nearby lakes and rivers, polluting waterways and causing an insane amount of environmental damage. Yeah, you'll wonder why the famous Manawatu River that runs through Palmerston North, and arguably one of the most iconic landmarks of Wanganui, is always that gross brown turdy colour instead of the beautiful picturesque blue that you see in all the old postcards. Yeah, that's cow poo. Toxic chemicals and all sorts of other hazardous garbage that dairy farmers get away with just dumping into the waterways, where in this case, the Manawatu River drains right on out straight into the ocean, where all that stinky brown foam washes up on the shore to the beach where you take your kids to play and where you walk your dog every morning. Anyways, if you couldn't tell, I hate animal agriculture and how it's a massive contributor to rapidly killing our environment. Seriously, we are headed on a one-way trip to making the reality of the ice warriors and the enemy in the world. Like, that's going to be the world we live in soon if we don't watch out. But, you know, gotta get more chicken nuggets from McDonald's. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Fury from the Deep. Sonic Screwdriver! The Doctor whips out this little gadget which can use sonic waves to unscrew screws. Sounds sensible enough. It's just a screwdriver. I seriously doubt we'll be seeing much of that in the future. After all, I mean, like I literally just said, it is just a screwdriver. I mean, it's not like it could reverse polarity of the neutron flow or make you fly or anything. There are a lot of awkward pauses in this video. Alright, I can't put it off any longer. This bored the crap out of me. So many scenes of characters trying to figure out what's going on, but like so many other poorly done mysteries in classic Who, like, we already know. They showed us. Heck, it's not even a mystery, it's just the thing that's happening, but we gotta sit around and wait for ages for the characters to figure out what is happening, and I don't know, sometimes it can work and they pull it off, which is a major credit to those serials that can pull it off, but here the writing's just not as strong. Not to mention the lack of a compelling villain. What I'm about to say is a stranger to no one. It's literally like the first thing that people think of when they think of this serial, so I don't want to dwell on it any more than I have to. The main opposition to the Doctor and Co. in this serial is sentient seaweed. I thought it was sentient sea foam, but no, it's apparently sea foam and seaweed. So yeah. So this must have been the Stu Bagful video I was thinking of, not the Underwater Menace. Look, somebody's probably already made a 20-minute video essay titled In Defense of the Seaweed, but it's just not a significant enough opposing force to drive the plot forward. Now, I'm well accustomed to stupid and contrived obstacles in classic Doctor Who. Webs, magic rocks, a sliding door. So it didn't bother me, but it really hurts the story to not have a significant threat presence, no matter how threatening they try to make sentient seaweed. And what's its weakness? Noise. Yep, as if the mind control geezers going and breathing toxic gas into people's faces wasn't unintentionally hilarious enough. When Victoria's screaming going, ah, and they're going back and forth at once, it's just so unintentionally cringy. Sorry to rag on this one, especially because I know one of my regular viewers really likes this story. But even when it gets something right, it almost immediately ruins it. Like, the ending to episode 4 makes it look like it's really about to start picking up. Like, the Doctor puts his game face on and goes, "The invasion. It's begun. The battle of the giants." What? It's seaweed, dude! Nevertheless, it was a cool episode cliffhanger. When episode 5 began, I was like, alright, go time, let's go! And then the Doctor goes and makes the stupidest move possible. Quick, everybody escape through here! Come on, Jamie, it's time to escape! Oh no, the door's locked! If only I had a magical screwdriver that could inexplicably open any door! Idiot! Or in the final episode, there's a genuinely thrilling set piece that makes me wish I could have seen it in live action to see how on earth they pulled it off back in the 60s, where the Doctor is piloting a little helicopter while dodging through these giant seaweed tentacles, something straight out of the Kraken from Harry Potter. Harry Potter! I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean. It's good stuff. Then it's immediately followed up by another pilot in a different helicopter shouting at him through the radio, telling him how to pilot the helicopter, constantly repeating the line, stick up, stick up! Like, dude, shut up! You literally just saw him do some serious evasive maneuvers. Stop backseat piloting. I'm a little disappointed at how the Doctor's final trick just worked straight away and solved both of the major problems immediately, somehow. Like, hey, let's try this thing. It worked. No explanation as to what was going on with the whole, sentient seaweed situation. Was it extraterrestrial? Was it a monster? Was it magic? Was it plankton? Who knows? Just blame it on the Daleks. Although, if the sudden victory, like 2/3 of the way through the episode, meant that we got more room for that extended final scene, then it was well worth it. For you see, dear viewer, in a moment I definitely didn't see coming, literally, I only just found out about it last week while researching Downtime. This is where we bid farewell to Victoria. I was shocked when I read that this was her last serial. I thought for sure it was always Jamie and Victoria throughout the entire Second Doctor's lifespan. And I swore that was her and the 5 Doctors. Who the heck is Zoe? Well, whoever she is, she has huge shoes to fill because I love Victoria. And so does Jamie, which led to the most heartbreaking goodbye. Like, I got quite emotional. In fact, I probably would have cried if, 1, I didn't already know it was coming, and 2, my flatmates weren't yelling about Game of Thrones behind me while I was trying to watch this scene. I can't really explain why I like her so much, but yeah, she's easily one of my favourite companions. And the farewell scenes are beautiful. Like, I love the fact that the Doctor just says, hey, if you're still not sure about this decision, we'll hang around for another day, just so you have more time. Like, really out of character for him. Well, out of character for the first Doctor, should I say. Jamie clearly didn't take it too well. This second Doctor is really mature and understanding when it comes to companions leaving. At least I'm glad Victoria got a happy ending, and I'm glad I watched Downtime before this serial. It just, I don't know, just made it seem more sweet that this was like a proper goodbye to Victoria. Circling back around to my overall thoughts on Fury from the Deep, I found it average. Much like the animation quality, it was serviceable. Nothing particularly stood out as being exceptional or awful. The animators from this particular animation studio have clearly hit their stride and aren't interested in revolutionising anything anytime soon. Still, I'll never stop wishing for top quality animation. I didn't hate this, nor did I love it. I have no interest in watching it again anytime soon, and that's okay. At the very least, it gave me my new favourite Jamie McCrimmon line. When getting incarcerated for the 50 millionth time, he says, why do they always lock us up? I know, Jamie, I know. Hey, I thought I told you to stop being so self-aware. Whew! 2 reviews in 1 week, what was I thinking? Well, wish me luck because I have to crawl on back to Daily Motion for another telesnap reconstruction of the next episode's The Wheel in Space. People seem to not like this one, but how? It has Cyberman in it. Oh well, only one way to find out. Thank you very much for watching, see you then.